All right, so here we go. We're gonna find out. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody who's here now. I want to make sure that I'm having issues right now with my mic as well as my headphone. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Can you guys let me know? Can you put in the chat there if you could hear me properly? Because, like I said, I'm having issues with my computer. But um, let's see. I know you say you could hear me, right, Mex?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
can hear you.
So okay. So let's see. All right. There
Looks
you
like
go.
you're good here.
All right. So all right. So first of all, the reason that I'm doing this live stream, right? Because my intentions are Monday. This Monday, I normally do a when I do my live streams. My good friend Andre, Officer Andre, is like my partner. So this Monday is the live stream that I wanted to put out there for people. What I'm trying to do is be more informative. I want. I think let me just start off by saying that the individual that I got here tonight with me, and the reason I'm doing this here tonight is because my good friend Yogi, my Yogi is here right on, my brother. Yogi sent me an email with a link to a live stream. For those of you that might have not seen the video where I think Frauded Troll put out there of what's his face there, Chrissy Cordova being sentenced. So the ideal that my friend Yogi sent me the live, I have tonight with me Mexican long hair. That's his YouTube channel for those of you that might not be familiar with him. Pretty much, he was at Christopher Cordova's sentencing, and the live stream that my friend Yogi sent me. After watching it, I said, "Damn, this individual." Let me just say, this individual, Mexican long hair. I'm not sure if he's done videos with Christopher, but he also goes out there doing the same thing. So I think after listening to, like I was just talking to him before I went live here, there's certain things that I think both communities can understand, and what I'm trying to let's just say, first of all, let me introduce yourself, Mexican, to the people that are watching this live stream, so that they know who you are, and you're what you do.
Yeah, no
Go ahead,
problem.
my friend.
Hello, everybody. I'm getting an echo. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself here. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm MLH. I have my own channel, Mexican Long Hair, obviously. I don't consider myself an auditor. I'm more of an activist. I do a lot of things on my channel. I do audits? Sure, I do audits, but I think you'll find that I do them in a different manner than most people. I also do homeless outreach. That's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. I do slice of life videos. They're just an amalgamation of things that I do on my channel. So I don't really consider myself any one thing. Definitely not a frauditor. I appreciate the time, and I hope you guys can keep an open mind and an open heart, just like I've told my audience, my subscribers to do when I got an influx of frauditor troll people on my channel that were actually very welcoming and very I got a lot of praise from you guys as community. So I hope that we can have a good honest dialogue, and maybe work out a few issues that we have. So that's who I am.
All right, so let me jump in here, Mexican. I want to let some of the people that are from this community that they may have questions, such as you see that I put here from Domestic Terror. She's also an individual that I look up to and have much respect for, and just. Don't get offended. I'm not going to highlight anybody who's. I don't think anybody here is going to put anything crazy, disrespectful here. But I think one of the things that this community pretty much doesn't understand is why, like let's say some of you that go out there and you say you're fighting for rights, right? And this is something with Christopher that I notice he nasty shit, a nasty habit that he has. Like when somebody disagrees with what you're doing. I think you've seen videos with Christopher. If you disagree with him, he has made efforts to follow that individual. There's a video of him at a DMV where he was harassing a security guard, and just a lady that just happened to be sitting there and watching this. She spoke out and she said, I don't like what you're doing to the security guard. I honestly think you're being disrespectful. The idea was that she was exercising her freedom of speech.
Right. So
and again, did you see that? Did you see that video where he turned around and he made the effort to hang around until she finished doing what she was doing at the DMV, and then followed her to her vehicle and recorded her license plate and splattered it on YouTube. So what I'm trying to get at, some people, and I'm not trying to let me just finish here for a sec. Some people may not, or let's say, disagree with what you guys do. And we notice that if somebody disagrees or doesn't like what you're doing, that freedom of speech that you guys say you're fighting for some reason, you turn around. If you don't like what that individual, their way of thinking is, your next option is to like splatter them. Or I'm not saying all of you. I've seen Christopher do this, and I've seen other individuals that say that they're out there fighting for freedom of speech. That if another person puts their input and it's something that they don't like, then they try to intimidate or do something stupid like what Christopher does.
Right. Let me address this. Okay. So about Christopher Cordova, the great DMA, right? I am not a fan. I will let everybody know that right there. I've been out with him on videos. They're there for everybody to see, unless he put them up on a paywall, which I'm more than happy to talk about, because you mentioned free speech. Yes, I'm definitely for free speech, just like everybody in chat probably is as well. But let me address it. I don't agree with his tactics. Okay, I think he is doing he has the opposite effect when he goes out and does what he does. All right, I'll tell you kind of a couple of mini stories about him. I went out with my very first time going out with DMA, and there's only been, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times. I think twice I've been out with him. The first time, I'll never forget it. We were at the Inglewood Library, and there were, to my surprise, a bunch of people. I don't like the mob mentality, right? Much rather go out on my own, or 1 or 2 people. I'm not into the 10, 15 people thing. I think that can be overwhelming for people, and cause an issue. So not that there's anything wrong with that. If you auditors want to go out and have 10, 15 people, then go for it. But it tends to cause more problems than what it's worth. So the first time I was out at Inglewood Library, the first thing that he did was grab some cue cards. So he already had a grandiose speech on I don't know what he was doing, to be honest with you. To me, it seemed unnecessary and irrelevant, and it was. So when we before we got into the building, he was already trying to position people the way that he wanted them positioned. So he said, well, I have more subs, so I'm going to be in the front. MLH, you have a channel, so you're going to be on my right side. And then he proceeded to tell everybody without channels, you guys stick in the back, and what we're going to do is we're going to do this and that, instead of just doing the audit, right? So what I did, because I'm not the type of person to take orders, especially from some new guy that is new to everything, is when we got into the building and everybody went left, I went right. And you guys can check that out on his channel, unless he put it behind a paywall, or you can look at it on my channel, either way. But to address the free speech thing, anytime that you're putting something behind a paywall, which he does, And he's even made a video about me that he decided to put behind a paywall as well, which I think is cowardly and is antithesis of free speech and the First Amendment, in my opinion. If you want everybody to hear your message or to see what you're doing, why are you hiding behind a paywall? So that pretty much sums up what I feel about DMA. The other instance was an instance where I actually invited him. It's the famous Chatio video on his channel, which is that's actually my video. I'm the one that wanted to go to the Aurora Library. He was kind of hesitant at first because I called him out on one of my lives and said, "Why don't you come on this one with me?" And to my shock, he actually agreed to go there. And then the results, which you guys are probably intimately familiar with. So those are my feelings on DMA. And I'm not a fan. I don't do things the way the dude does it. And I was definitely there at his sentencing because I report the news as well. That's another hat I wear is journalist. So there you go. That's pretty much the quick skimmed history of me and DMA. There's a lot more, but it's too much to go into a full-on speech about it. So there you go. There you go.
Great. Now, I'm sure you understand that this auditing or whatever you want to call it, right? A lot of people basically caught off guard by this because it just came out of nowhere. Okay, you got individuals like I don't know if you watch other auditors out there, right?
I do.
You got that knucklehead. He calls himself Silence Boy, who goes throughout his local area. They're recording people while they're eating at restaurants, and I'm noticing other individuals are starting to do this. And this individual, a transgender, who calls himself First Amendment rights. Right now, I understand that. I'll respect anybody who wants to hold the government or law enforcement officers accountable. Yes. But now, when you start attacking the regular average citizen who's walking down the street, I think it's safe to say, regardless that if you're in public, I think everybody has that right to not be messed with, bothered, let's say. I think it's I think it's not just unusual for somebody that's a father and son who goes to private businesses and they aim their cameras inside of a business intentionally into that business owner. And one of the things I saw, I only got to watch 2 of your videos, right? And that's why I said I kind of like some of the things that you the way you perform and what has come out of your mouth I liked. I said, damn, this guy is not really a bad guy. But I think it's safe to say that a lot of people are not, how should I say it? They're not aware that there are people running around with cameras that they want to prove a point that there's it's legal and just the ideal that just because somebody's in public doesn't mean that they're fair game. I think a lot has to do with respect. A lot of people throughout, let's say throughout different countries, third world countries, if you want to call it that, everybody wants to flock to the United States because it's a civilized society. People here, with all the people that are here, we all respect each other. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but people flock here because of the respect that we all have for each other. And unfortunately, some of like the so-called freedom fighters or auditors, they have it in their heads that public means that everybody's fair game. Like everything is, if it's public, then it's fair game or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Well, let me address that. Let me address it. Okay. It is true if you're in public and somebody's recording you with the camera. I mean, technically, it's all fair game. Right. It whether you like it or not, whether, I mean, it is fair game, but there is a at least with me, there is a moral compass, right? And I understand what you're saying. With a lot of these people, there's no moral compass, and they will sit there and they will record somebody, like you said, eating, peering into a private business, and that crosses the line for me. I'm not sitting there trying to get a rise out of people. I'm not. That's not my intention at all. Like if I happen to be like one time I did a walk on Colfax Avenue, which is a long street, and I walked down the street, and if the business itself has a patio that is alongside the public walkway, then that's the business problem. That's not my problem. If I'm walking down the side of the road and you happen to be on camera and you're upset about it, talk to the business owner. I don't give a shit. I'm doing what I need to do. And
all right. Hang on there. Hang on now. You're that thought of you're walking down the street and you're passing a business with a camera, that I kind of disagree with, because those businesses that have cameras on their establishments or whatever, they specifically put that for security reasons for their place of business. They're not there trying to record people while they're walking up and down the sidewalk or
no. You misconstrue what I'm saying.
Okay, say that again. I'm sorry.
If you're in the public sphere, i.e., if I'm walking down a public sidewalk on a street and you happen to have let's say you're a restaurant and you have a patio, which there's a lot on Colfax. There's a lot of these patio that the business owners put out for people to enjoy the weather or whatever. Then if I happen to be passing and you're upset that I'm catching you on camera because you chose to sit out on that patio instead of a private setting inside the establishment, that's not on me. That's on you or the business owner. So, but I will say that if you're sitting there, like if you're just walking past, that's one thing. But if you're going to stand there and you're going to bother somebody that's eating their food and enjoying the weather and all that, then that's a line that I don't cross, right? There you
go. That's what I was getting at. Okay, I got you. We're on the same page. There's a major difference. Major difference there. I mean, because I don't think any one of us has a problem with anybody recording while they're out in public. Right. But I think I've seen a lot of videos where the individual who says they're out there, public photography, let's say, they're out there recording the public. But when you notice that they're standing in front of an individual and they intentionally aim their cell phone or camera at that person for X amount of time, I think it's normal for that person, to say, damn it, I don't know who this individual is. And it's not briefly, we're talking a few minutes or whatever. It kind of makes you scratch your head. Why is this individual recording? You're intentionally doing for a reaction, let's say, and that's not right. And regardless that, I don't know, my way of thinking, regardless of an individual's in public, doesn't matter. You still give that person respect. I get what you're getting at. You can't stop somebody from recording, and you happen to. I don't know. I think most of us understand that.
Look, let me address that too. If you're standing in front of somebody and that all they're doing is simply eating, I mean, where's your moral compass, right? I mean, you're an idiot, and I don't have any problems calling out anybody out for that. It's stupid. It's asinine.
All right, so that individual who I'm in reference to, then that asshole that calls himself Silence Boy, right?
I'm not familiar. I mean,
check him out. Any time, the next time you got free time, go on YouTube and check him out, and you see the type of shit that he does, and he hides this. That's what annoys me, is that. Some of these individuals that say they're out there fighting for rights or the Constitution or whatever, they're using it as an excuse to hide behind. It's not borderline. They disrespect people intentionally so that they can, get their career going on YouTube.
Yeah,
and that's the unfortunate part. Right. Even with law enforcement, think about it. Okay, I even though I have friends that are cops or whatever, I I understand that they should be held accountable because there are some cops that they have. Believe it or not, real quick story. Yesterday, going to Walmart, I got
Mhm.
pulled over, and I'm talking. This is at 10:30 at night. My animals didn't have no food. I ran. I said, Walmart's going to close at 11 o'clock. Let me run over there real quick.
Mhm.
I ended up getting pulled over by a state trooper, and the next thing I know, he's got me. Let me step out of the vehicle, and he started giving me. He told me my eyes were dilated, and
Right.
and it's crazy
Right.
because I don't do anything, and he gave me like 15, 20 minutes. He had me out there, and I said, "Damn it, I don't do anything." And look at this here. I'm about to get arrested for it because my eyes were dilated.
Right.
He
Right.
said,
Well, let me.
and I'm just
Let,
saying, some cops out there, I could understand that, there's it's a good thing to have
right.
people watch our local or your local law enforcement officers. But I will say that after watching you guys for what some of these freedom fighters do, they're intentionally like it's hatred towards law enforcement
No, no, no,
officers,
no.
and
Let
this is
me
what they're promoting.
right. Let me address this. Okay. The scenario you just said is a reason that I will pull over and record the police. Right. You're on a routine traffic stop. Maybe the cop thought you were speeding, or he thought that you had a tail light out, or whatever the case may be. Right. What you just said is exactly why there should be more people recording these policemen. Right. He's saying your eyes are dilated. You've never done, but yet you've never done drugs. Is he an expert on eye dilation? Is
I
he
hear you. I hear you. I'm with you. I am
y-
definitely with you.
right?
Then you understand why when we see those individuals that say they're out there fighting for or holding police accountable, and they're intentionally harassing law enforcement just for the hell of it,
Right.
that kind of hurts. It hurts the movement, no?
I
Because
agree. Okay.
in the
I,
beginning, I honestly,
right.
before doing what I'm doing now, I supported you guys. I said, "Damn it, these guys are out there fighting for our rights."
Right.
But yet, here they, after watching you guys for a while, now I'm starting to notice that. These guys are just doing what they're doing because they hate cops, or they're doing it just for And
Right.
thank you,
Well,
Katina.
there's. I'm not going to lie to you. There are a certain amount of people inside the 1A community, for instance, that just have a disdain for cops. Right. I always say, I don't hate cops. I hate bad cops. Right. And I'm there to catch. And I've caught them several times doing nefarious things, whether it's running a red light, which none of us can do, whether it's speeding, which none of us can do, whether it's littering, which they will give us a ticket for, right? So there's a myriad of things that police do that we don't have the same privilege to do, nor should we, nor should they. They should be held to a higher standard, right? And I've even had some cops admit that on camera. We should be held to a higher standard. So what is the higher standard? Anytime that a police does something, they usually don't suffer any consequences. It's very rare for a cop to get a ticket, or they, if they do get pulled over and they're found out to be a cop, well, they just sweep that under the rug. Let me address something in chat here. Somebody said, am I willing to answer questions? I'm willing to answer any questions that you guys have. So ask away. I have no problem with open dialogue. Just be respectful is the only thing that I really ask. I
All
don't
right,
like
so I'm trying to read. I'm by myself here, so it's kind of hard reading the chats and talking to you. But anyone who wants to ask questions, ask normal, respectful questions, and I'll throw it up there and I'll let him answer. Because I think the ideal come Monday, you're gonna see what me and my friend have up our sleeves because. When I watch so-called freedom fighters say that they're out there educating the public, and then when I think you've also seen some of these so-called auditors that go out there and somebody approached them and asked them, "Hey, why are you recording?" and
Mhm.
blase blase, they get brushed off. Well, we can't tell you anything. We're gathering content for a
Yeah,
story.
see,
So it's like everything is being thrown off here. And if there was a way of you guys all getting together, you guys want the respect as as auditors or what. And I don't like using that word because to me, auditor is just something that somebody made up. And
No,
now, so, like everybody's jumping in and
no.
everybody has their own way or their own interpretation of what auditing is all
Right,
about.
right.
So,
So, okay, let me set some things straight here. You mentioned some good things here. When auditing first started, it didn't start with me. It started with a group of people a long time ago, probably over a decade ago. You can go back further than 10 years and see people with cameras trying to hold police accountable or conduct what they consider audits, right? Making sure that their right to record in public was protected, right? Which is part of the First Amendment. So I got no problem with people getting called out. Like, as a matter of fact, I've called out DMA on my channel. Accountability is for all, not just police, not just us, not just members of the public. It's for all, right? So I I'm that way. I want to hold everybody accountable, including myself, which is why I don't like to block people unless you're being a complete douchebag. I'm not going to block you on my channel. As a matter of fact, I welcome the discussion and I welcome constructive criticism. If somebody feels that I did something wrong, well, there's a forum for that. I read my comments every Saturday, every single one of those comments. And for the most part, they're very positive. But every once in a while, somebody will notice something that I may have done wrong, or I've mentioned a law that was not the right, statute or something of that nature. And I appreciate the constant learning experience. So for me, I'm going to call out bullshit for what it is. So that's how I go.
don't you guys? Wouldn't it be good for all of you guys to get together so that you're all on the same page instead of everybody doing their own thing? And those that are like that knucklehead silence boy that's hurting the movement, why not get
Yeah.
rid of them? Hey, you
Well,
know,
look,
you would get more respect from people because at this point when you guys say that you're fighting or we the people or
yeah,
whatever, it ain't we the people because there's a lot of us that don't agree with the way you guys are going about doing things. Okay.
I'm going to explain it. I'll explain it to you this way. I'm going to explain it to you this way. Getting a bunch of, um, people that are real is a really hard thing to do. Okay, for one, and then the other thing is, if you do happen to have a group of people that are in it for the right reasons, the right cause, or whatever, they're like cats. They're hard to wrangle, right? There's no, you can't wrangle a bunch of cats. So I would prefer, like I said before, I would prefer either going out on my own and proving that I'm doing the right things, or going out with a couple of people that I know that are in it for the right cause. They're good activists. They do good work. They're doing stuff behind the scenes that you don't see on camera, like filing formal complaints against officers that have done wrong. Or holding government officials accountable, like city council members, politicians, like mayors of the city. Like, I mean, I could go on and on. There's a lot of.
I could agree. A government they put themselves in that spot. Once you sign up to politician, but that's where I'm thinking politicians. Like instead of going to city halls and these local local police department is a different ball game. But I'm just saying, like those that say that they're holding local government accountable, your city halls and stuff, those local areas that have that no recording policy. Don't you think it makes sense to like attack the lawmakers, the ones that make those rules or whatever, instead of
There's, yeah. Well,
you get what I'm getting? I know I'm not explaining it because again, I'm trying
I
to
know what
read the
you're saying.
chats at the same time.
I know what you're saying, and I think there's room for both, right? I don't think you have to take one side or the other. I mean, attacking the laws is one thing. That's a whole different animal, and I do that as well behind the scenes. It's not good camera stuff. It's not, it's not sexy. Of course, none of my work is really sexy. If you compare my work to most of the other quote unquote auditors. And I do agree with you. There's a lot of frauditors out there that are under fraudulent pretenses. They only do it for money, clicks and views, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the
I was just gonna differentiate you from that, because I've noticed I've seen two of your videos, I should say, and I noticed your videos are not getting all the views, and that's the unfortunate part. The people that, in my opinion, you can tell that they got good intentions. They don't, their channels don't grow, their videos don't get views, and then those that are actually creating chaos, like in my opinion, Christopher and the individual here, Sean Reyes. You know who he is, right? Long
I
Island
know who
Audit.
Sean Reyes is. He's,
okay, you see the type of BS. Now, I think he may have had a good intentions in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, he's been overwhelmed. People are throwing money at him left and right. That he, in my opinion, he lost his way, and now he's out there intentionally doing shit because he knows he has the people right where he wants them. And unfortunate, the people too. There are in the people in each community, they want the drama. Okay, and this is not all about drama. We're talking about going into city halls, post office, which I don't understand the post office, my opinion, because there ain't no tyranny going on in my local post office. So I don't understand. I understand it's a federal, they get bailouts here and there, and that's the reason they're getting picked on. But just certain things that you guys do doesn't make any sense to me. If you're out there trying to make changes, impact or whatsoever, it's like you're fighting the wrong people, in my opinion.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So let me address the post office thing. I've said this several times. I think post offices are low-hanging fruit, and you will not see a post office audit on my channel unless it's brought to my attention that a post office treats its customers like shit. Like if you go on to Google and it's getting one or two stars, and there's a lot of reviews saying this post office is terrible, they don't serve the public, they're this and that and the other, then I possibly would would do that. But to me, it's low hanging fruit. It's akin to what you were saying earlier about getting a rise of people that are eating food in a restaurant. You know what I mean? So it's not something that I would do. I mean, if you want to get clicks and views, you go to a police office, because those people are already unhinged, and they most certainly will try to usher you out, even though you have the right to record there, right? But yeah, I agree with you.
But I'm sure you understand, like post offices, in my opinion, when like post to 7, I think is being interpreted wrong by some of you. Okay, because it's telling you right there in post to 7 that you do need permission or whatsoever.
No, I disagree. Poster 7 clearly.
You see that again? I say that's I get to the point where I say screw it, into the post offices, and to the main post office clearly states what poster 7 is. You're going to have your interpretation of it, and I'm going to have mine. So that's something that we can debate on that forever, and we wouldn't get nowhere.
Well, but look, here's what I'm telling you. The way that I read it, and the way that the law reads it, is it's perfectly okay to record in there. You don't need permission. You don't need to go to the postmaster. There's no ambiguity about it. It's pretty laid out. But I will tell you again, my moral compass tells me not to go in there, because these are your neighbors, right? The people that work at the post office.
There you go. I like what you just said there. I real quick, let me jump in here real quick, because I try to throw that. I mentioned that in a lot of my videos, because people are forgetting. I got friends that work in city halls, and I mean, you're forgetting, just because that individual is getting, works for the government or whatever, all of a sudden you're turning your back on them, and all of a sudden they've become the enemy. And they're just, a lot of them work hard and got that job because of the benefits. Some of them got, some of the people that end up working at these government locations because of the benefits. They have kids and so on, right?
Right. but check
And do
this
you?
out.
And let me ask this because hold on one second, Mexican. That the question that you see right here. This is an individual that I also look up to. Internet God is a real good friend. Okay, he's been with me since I started. Now that is something. Also, do you notice that the majority of the individuals? I don't know about your history, and I ain't no angel either. I've done my crap growing up, and now it's
Mhm.
about raising my
Well,
kids
let
and
me
so
let
on.
me
But
okay, let me answer this question here that you got here. He says, "Why do you think that 99% of people attracted to First Amendment auditing are criminals?" First of all, you don't know it's 99%, okay? But I do agree that there is a good contingency of people that are probably very hurt that they got wronged by the system, and they do First Amendment auditing. All right, so I do agree with you. There's a good chunk, but let me clue you in on something. I have no record. I have never been arrested. I don't. I've never even. I mean, the last ticket I got was not stopping at a stop sign, which I clearly stopped at, and that was 5 years ago. I follow the law. I don't even speed. So I'm not perfect by any stretch. Do I make my voice heard? I do. But I will tell you, I've never been arrested, and the reason is it's a good contrast between the guy that you guys really hate, and I'm Christopher Cordova, also known as DMA. I mean, I do things a lot differently. I don't put myself in a position to get arrested, right? If I know the heat is going to be on me, and for instance, if I almost got arrested like last week because a police officer got really huffy. But I didn't say anything super disrespectful. I was just there with the camera, and simply being there with the camera is should not force the police in a police lobby to
I
arrest
agree with
you.
that.
You see
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Because if you do that, then the police, when they turn their body cams, aren't they doing the same thing? They're recording in a public lobby. Why shouldn't they arrest each other? I made that point on that video too. So as long as you're not causing a disturbance, you're not you're not actively trying to get victims on your camera. I understand why the Denver police put up their piddly ordinance that doesn't mean anything. It wasn't put up with bad intentions, but you're trampling on everybody's First Amendment right when you do that. So the signs actually mean absolutely nothing. They portray that it's backed by certain statutes, and those statutes were actually for funerals. If you read the statute that's on those signs, it's an illegitimate sign in Denver, and it's that I'm just there to prove that you can do these things. And I've been in several police lobbies and recorded, and nothing has happened because normally the police officers agree and they understand that just because a police chief put up an ordinance doesn't mean that it trumps our First Amendment rights. But like I said, I'm not there to cause any issues. A lot of times I go into those police officer lobbies to get a complaint form, which is another thing in itself. I don't know if you've seen very many of my videos, but I mean, it's like pulling teeth to get a simple form. Not everybody has a computer. There's a lot of people with disabilities that don't have the money or the means to be
I hear
online.
you. I'll agree. I'll agree with that because back in my younger days when I lived in New York, our news media, Channel 7, had sent an undercover to a few precincts out in New York, and the police departments would get offended when somebody walked in there
Mhm.
talking about they wanted a complaint form. So I do. I think. I think if we were to sit down and each community talk to each community, we
Mhm.
have a lot in common. It's just a lot, not just one or two, a lot of individuals that call themselves auditors, and in my opinion, they're hurting the movement.
I
Okay,
agree. I agree.
and I think if you guys are really, really serious about this, and this is something you want to pursue, then I think all you guys need to, like, I don't know if you want to call it unionizing, but to get together and get rid of those individuals that consider themselves, or they're calling themselves
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
YouTube auditors or whatever, because they're hurting the movement. You won't get
Well,
everybody to respect you with one or two individuals doing their own thing. Um, Silence
well,
Boy would be the first knucklehead that I'd get rid of. He's out there with the. You got to take into consideration that the way you guys operate. Well, I can't say you guys. Well, you know what I mean. The way it works with you guys, where if somebody or a business or whatever, they fight back, the next thing you know, you're calling 10, 15, 20 other people to come, and the following day they're being crucified because
yeah, yeah,
they fought back. Okay,
right,
so
right.
again, the whole theory. This Monday, what me and my friend are attempting to do is to be more. I want everybody to start informing in their local communities. Go to your
Mhm.
local post offices, city halls, and communicate with them. Let them know, hey, you're going to have people. And I think a lot of these locations are aware of it. It's just the way you guys go about it. When you go into a location, like, listen, I know you guys don't like hearing about 9/11, but you got to admit, ever since 9/11 happened, and I don't blame the government for being tight the way they are at certain,
Well,
some of
well,
these locations.
yeah, I
You
think we can agree to disagree on that a little bit. I think 9/11 put a lot of restrictions on our rights that probably
to a
shouldn't.
certain extent, I'll agree, but you got to understand, you got unfortunate that our government has gone to other countries and kind of put their noses where it should have never been that
I
in the
totally
beginning,
agree. I
and that's
totally
like a whole
agree.
nother video right there.
Right,
But
right,
but the damage has been done. That
right.
now we have to protect ourselves here. Okay,
Well,
so
what
I
do we
like
do
the
to protect
idea.
ourselves from? I
I
mean, there,
like the
honestly,
idea
there's.
I like the
I'm
idea
sorry.
that some of our government locations are strict where you have to sign in, show ID, and so on. They're not trying. Some of these locations that ask for ID or whatever, in my opinion, some of these locations you can tell, like the DMVs, when they that no recording policy in the DMV. Think about it.
Mhm.
There's people exchanging personal information.
No,
You got
okay,
idiots out there. Hold on
yeah,
now. You got idiots out there that deal with identity theft. Okay, now I myself have like with Long Island Audit, who has gone to some of these DMVs to do his little frauditing, and while he's panning to the left or right, he have not intentionally done it. But you could actually stop the frame on somebody exchanging paperwork, not by intentionally, just by panning to the right or left, and you could zoom in with your editing program, and you could see the information, social
yeah,
security number, and
yeah.
so on. So
Okay,
again, certain locations, in my opinion, that they have that no recording policy, or you can't record by the windows. In my
right,
opinion, I don't see it as they're trying to infringe on my rights or they're trying to hide anything from the people, but instead they're trying to
right.
protect people's
Okay,
information.
let me
Okay.
address that. Let me address that. Okay, those problems can be easily addressed without taking away everybody's rights, right? I don't agree with
You're
going
not you're
in.
not talking about bringing them to the back somewhere
No,
or
no. Listen, just let me
all right, go
finish. Let
ahead.
me finish. There are privacy screens. There are things that the government could do that don't involve having unconstitutional signs and stuff of that nature. Okay, so I'm not here to say that I would go into a social security office. As a matter of fact, those laws are different than state and local localities, right? And that was proven by the DMA case, right? Which I was there. And if you want to know anything about that, I can obviously tell you because I was in the courtroom with that. But I'm not I'm not going to go into a social security office because of that. I don't want the headache. I don't want to be put in a position where now I'm fighting the federal government on some charges just simply for filming. You understand what I'm saying? I understand
But
federally.
you will agree certain locations that have that no recording policy, it's not because they're trying to hide anything from the people, or that they're trying to protect people's personal information. You will agree with that, right? Not
No,
everything is.
I understand. I understand, but I also think on the flip side, I think those local ordinances and stuff like that, they don't hold any weight. You know, it means absolutely nothing. But if you're going in there just to be a rebel rouser, and you're trying to, just intentionally cause all kinds of nonsense, and you're recording, you're panning left and right, and you know that somebody might have their driver's license there, for instance, then in my opinion, it's a morality play more than anything, and you should not want to do that to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree. I agree. I'm with you. Like I said, I've only got to see 2 of your videos today. My friend Yogi was the one that put me onto you. I never knew anything about you, and I could kind of see by some of the things that you said is that you are Ironton order. Okay, I think I know he's another good guy. Okay, another guy that I've seen a bunch of his videos, and this is an individual who cop watches, and check it out. The guy is at the point where when police finish, he records police interaction. When the police are finished, they go to him. He doesn't go to them. They go to him and give him the info. That's respect right there. And I give that Ironton auditor much respect.
Right. I understand.
You work with, that's my way of thinking is understandable. We got bad cops out there. I think we all know that. Okay. But when they're on a call or whatever, they pull somebody over. Do you notice that some of these auditors that the first they say they cop watching, and cop watching to me is sitting on the sideline documenting, recording. And if something goes crazy where the officer starts beating them down like they did Rodney King, that's a whole different ball game.
Right.
Okay. But the first interaction is coming from that auditor. He wants to insert himself in the scene. He wants to become like he wants to show his subscribers that he's hands-on or whatever. I don't, again, we all know they want the views.
Right. I agree with you. Let me address that. And then I want to address something in chat here. I understand what you're saying. In my videos, I 9 times out of 10 will let the cops make the mistakes themselves, right? Whatever those mistakes will be, and then I will speak, right? There are certain instances where I already know the cop is a piece of shit and has done dirty things in the past, and I'll let him have it because I already know what's coming, right? There's not going to be any dialogue. There's not going to be any bridging of the gap. I'm just simply there to let him know that I'm here. And I'm watching them because I know how dirty they are, right? There are those contingencies of cops that are simply doing dirty work. I think you would agree with that. And I have my pulse on in certain cities like Denver and Aurora and Lakewood and a few others that I kind of know most of the cops in Denver and Lakewood. And if I know you're already dirty, well, I'm going to let you know that I'm there, and you're not going to be dirty on this particular stop. You might do something, after you leave here, but at least on this stop, you're not going to do it. Now, let me address something in chat. Shasta Daisy said, why audit a library? People in the library want peace and quiet. It's a place people can go to relax and get away from all your stress. I understand that. But there is a point to going to libraries and checking out what's going on there. Maybe people want to understand, what's going on in the library. Maybe there's some upcoming book club meetings, or maybe there's some more things that are coming up in that library that you want to learn, or sometimes I just like taking people through a tour of the library. It's actually a nice thing to go into. I'll use Aurora, for instance. The Aurora library is awesome, and it should be highlighted and shown. It just so happens that one of the
I did see that video you did, and I'll give you respect for that. But I also feel the same way towards libraries. Those are locations where people, they shouldn't be bothered with. But I did see your video where you went in there. You was in there for like 5 to 7 minutes, and you was out. Okay, right. But not everybody's like that. Okay,
no, I agree.
That's why I say, you guys, if you guys really want everybody's respect, then you need to get together and get rid of those that are pretty much. I don't know how you would go about doing that, but as long as you got people that are being disrespectful and doing all kind of crazy crap, you're not going to get everybody on board.
Well,
and so by not having everybody on board, you can't say we the people.
Well,
And
look,
I'm not trying to jump down your throat.
no,
I'm
no, no.
just trying to like
Let me
uh,
explain this to you. Okay, it's like you're in this. I don't know if you guys call yourself anti-frauditor community or what your community is called per se.
anti-frauditing community. I could go with. I could live with that.
Okay,
I just
okay,
think we just don't like the shit that most of these
I
individuals are doing by
understand. I mean, I get
disrespecting
it.
people.
Yeah, I get it, but it's not my job to get together with these people. Like I said, it's like wrangling cats. My job is to call out bullshit for what it is, whether it's a government official, a police officer, a piece of crap like library worker like Chatio. I'm sure you guys have seen that video, or in to go one step further, I do hold people in this community accountable. I call bullshit where it is, and I did it with DMA. I think he's complete shit, and I've said it over and over. You guys can, hear little jabs that I've taken at him over many streams. I think he hurts the cause more than he's ever helped it. And I'll give you an example. He's 0-3 so far in his court cases, right? I can't compare him to myself because I have zero. I'm 0 for 0. But someone else I can compare him to is a guy like KDOT, my good friend KDOT, right? KDOT has been arrested 3 times, but he's beat every single one of those charges because they were bullshit. All right. So
But also
like,
keep in mind now, even if you beat it, doesn't necessarily mean it's how you beat it. Okay,
right.
because
That's exactly
in my opinion, some of these prosecutors, they don't want to prosecute all the way because
well.
they think it's more cost of money or whatever the
Or
case may
or
be.
it could be
So
or it
beating
could
it
be
doesn't necessarily mean you're right.
it could also mean, and I think you will concede this. It also means, it could mean that that person did it the right way, and there was nothing the prosecution could do for it. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You contrast that with somebody like DMA who's 0-3, did everything the wrong way, and it's very obvious because he's 0-3. Okay, that's what I'm saying. He does things the very wrong way, and they should not be done like that. I've said it 100 times. He was wrong in the Social Security office. He was wrong in Sheridan. He was wrong everywhere you go. He was wrong. He does things the wrong way. I'm agreeing with you.
Agree,
But
agree,
I'm
agree.
trying
And
to.
I've seen that in some of your videos. You're very critical. I understand exactly where you stand with Christopher. Okay, I think he is a good example of somebody who's bad for the movement. And
Right.
as you see in this question here, what is the cause? What is your intention to get rid of our government?
No, 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 no. I'm not an anarchist or anything like that. I want to hold people accountable for their actions, right? If a police officer is beating the shit out of somebody or planting drugs or things of that nature, that person should not be in the police force. I think you all would agree with that, right? That you don't want dirty cops on the police force.
We agree. We agree. We agree.
So,
I think I could speak for most of us that
right.
we don't want no bad cops out there. But an organization that big, one or two are going to slip in there. So it's
There's more
something
than
that
one
we
or
have to
two.
work on.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm getting.
I
I'm
know what you're getting at.
hypothetically talking.
But check this out. So part of what I do is behind the scenes too. Not everything is in front of the cameras. So another good contrast, and the way that you can sort of kind of separate the good from the bad, right? Is find out how many of these people are actually following through with trying to hold people accountable. I.e., are you putting in the complaints? Where did that complaint go? What was the complaint? What were the consequences, etc., etc.? And if you don't do that, why didn't you try to hold that person accountable all the way, right? So there's people that are in it for the clicks and views. I think you guys are very familiar with a lot of those. You've mentioned several examples. DMA, there's no question he's in it for clicks and views. I think he's even said it before. And then there's people like me, and there's people like KDOT that we're not doing this for money. I mean, I think the last time I looked at my YouTube, you get paid $100 in $100 increments, right? I think the last check I got from YouTube was probably 2 months ago, and it was for that, a little over $100. So I'm definitely not in it for the money. Would I like more
I
money?
hear you. I'm with you. I am definitely with you with that one too. Um, I know me and you, if we were to sit down and talk, we have the somewhat the same mentality.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I like what you just said about the behind the scene deals of if you're going to go as far as holding somebody accountable and you do find something that's not appropriate, then you go all the way, file the complaints and so
right,
on. And a
right,
lot of these individuals are not doing it because all they want is the drama. You got
right.
individuals in New York City, okay?
Yeah,
Like I'm born and raised in Manhattan, and
you
you got
couldn't tell by
individuals.
your accent.
Well, you got individuals like Good Guy Audits and
Yeah,
Eli, and if you've watched these individuals right now, they're fighting the no recording policy in the precincts, right? And
yeah,
in a sense, I could understand why police departments don't want the BS of people going in there recording. But and then I also see the other side where somebody who may want to record their interaction, somebody legitimately.
yeah.
That's why I say people. Some of these individuals that call themselves auditors, they're
Mhm.
hurting the movement and they're hurting the people that
Right,
may have legitimate reasons to do what they're doing. Record,
right,
may
right,
want to record an interaction with an officer,
right. No
but
doubt.
that policy of no recording, let's say for some reason that policy was not in effect no more.
Hmm.
What kind of dirt are you going to get on, like in the police departments in New York? The precinct is just like in the where the desk is at, where the desk sergeant
Well,
is
let,
at.
let me
How
ask
are
you
you
this
going to catch a cop
question.
doing dirt there, standing in there? And
Well,
technically, after X amount of time, after you don't get, a lot of these individuals are going to do it.
right.
They're just going to start poking jabs at the officer just to show their subscribers that they look. No more recording in the police department is over. When we can come in here and screw with you.
Well,
A lot of them I don't
listen.
see. Go
I
ahead.
don't subscribe to that. I'm not one to poke, right? I don't. I'm. That's not. Nobody should be doing that purposely. But let me ask you this question: why is it okay for the government to have cameras in that lobby, but it's not okay for you to record in that lobby? That's
I understand. I understand. A
see,
lot of people don't like the idea of Big Brother, like
right,
the cameras that are out there on the light posters or whatever is
right,
being used by the government to watch. I tell you, not all of us are like kissing government's ass,
right,
but
right.
a lot of people are being affected by what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot
Let
of
me.
you can't use that. You can't use that same excuse for everything when somebody is just walking down a sidewalk or whatever.
I agree.
And I understand you got that same, you don't like the same things we don't like or whatever, but
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is the shit that's going on. A lot of these individuals are justifying their actions. Well, look, this building or this location has cameras inside, which we all know is for security reasons. And yes, if the
Well,
government wants to watch us, they can watch us. Okay.
right.
But again, the government is not going to be posting those videos on YouTube to get paid, to make a
Well,
buck off of
okay.
it.
Well, I don't have a let me address the payment the pay thing, okay? Broken Bone says DMA and LIA both claim they're not in it for the money. I can't speak for LIA Broken Bones because I don't know him, but I do know DMA and I can confirm 100% he's in it for the money. No doubt. There's no question. I'm going to lay that to rest here for you all. DMA is definitely in it for the money, okay? But as far as money goes, I got no problem with people making money. I just have a problem with the way they go about it, right? If my channel ends up blowing up because people respect what I do and they end up subscribing and I end up get 100,000 subscribers, well, that's awesome for me, right? I'm doing things the right way and I'm making money doing it. I don't agree with memberships. You will never see a membership on my channel because I don't think there's any intrinsic value in it, right? So if you see people with memberships on their channel that are doing this, I kind of question that. Merchandise I got no problem with because if somebody wants to put their logo on I don't know a fucking bag or something and somebody wants to buy that, then more power to them. There's a little bit of value there, right? You get a bag and you pay for it what you pay for. I think the prices are a little over bloated in most of those channels, but if you're not trying to rip people off and you have quality merchandise and stuff like that. I don't have merchandise on my channel for the record, but I got no problem with that. But I do have problems with paywalls. If you're putting your content behind paywalls, then you are the very antithesis of the First Amendment, and you should really be ashamed of yourself. If you're in this for the right reasons, then you will immediately take all those videos and put them for the public to see. So those are kind of my thoughts on that. Um, did he really quit a journeyman electrician job for well, I'm to be a frauditor? Yogi, the answer is yes, 100%. He did quit his journeyman electrician job to be what you call a frauditor, and I have no problems calling DMA a frauditor, because he is. And I called him out.
No, this is a question. I think we all know that he's doing this intentionally, but this is a question also that I find interesting, because a lot of these locations that have the camera that you guys say you're going in there to record the employees to see if they're doing their job properly or whatever the case may be.
Right.
The same way you guys throw it in their face that you could FOIA request that footage there.
Right.
Well,
right.
that's one way of going about it. You don't need to go in. I think it's kind of safe to say that some of these locations you're going intentionally holding a cell phone because it's not intimidating, but again, a lot of people just don't want to be bothered. And I think everybody has that right. And I get what you're getting at when you're out in public. And to me, public is the sidewalk, stuff like that. But once you go into a location, that's it. That's not public no more.
Well, it depends on what you're talking about. It really depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about a government building, there are public places, but I don't agree with going beyond like restricted areas and stuff like that. Let me address that question specifically from eclectic perspective. I love that name, by the way. Why don't you request footage to catch the corruption because you want to create content? No, that's not true. Okay, the reason that it's kind of counterproductive to ask for footage is because a lot of times that footage is manipulated. I have several examples of that. I behind the scenes go and request body cam footage all the time, and they always cut out everything that could catch the corruption. So your camera is unbiased. So if I'm on, let's say I'm on a public sidewalk and I'm capturing what's going on a traffic stop, and I happen to catch a cop, beating the shit out of somebody, Rodney King style. Well, now I have a record that I don't have to request. And by the way, requesting body footage is very expensive. And for somebody like me that doesn't have a ton of money, that would be an inhibitor, right? Why does that footage cost us money? We should be able to get that at any time. I also think that body cam should be on 24/7. If you're on the job, then the public should be able to click in to see what you're doing to hold you accountable. I think that would curb a lot of the corruption. Why can't that happen? It would not be a big deal.
Agree. I think I could live with that. And I think that's things like that you guys make sense. Then I think maybe you guys should go to like the higher ups, because again, to go in there and fight the small employee or the security guard there who's just trying to do a job, in my opinion, it's like you're fighting the wrong people, and you're not accomplishing. Like getting back to that individual who calls himself good guy activism now, right? He's been going to various police departments, right, in reference to that no recording policy. Now, Long Island Audit's been arrested, and he has that in federal court. I don't know where that stands at this moment, but you already have somebody fighting that policy in the courts, right? Mm-hmm. But you still got these individuals that go to different departments every day with the same old BS about policy doesn't override the Constitution, right? I mean, but again, my way of thinking is, why not wait until that is like what this knucklehead Long Island Audit did by taking that to court? Why not wait for the outcome on that before you continue to keep pushing the same old BS of going to different police departments, the same BS? You know what I'm getting at?
I know what you're saying, and I can't. Here's the answer, and it may not be something you like, but I can't go by what anybody else does. I just go by what I do. I happen to do it.
Why I include you in that is because you're calling yourself an auditor. These individuals are calling themselves auditors. So I don't know. In my opinion, you all you guys are. I like what you're saying, that you could only answer for yourself, and you're in this just for yourself. But now you've included yourself in by calling yourself an auditor, you're including yourself with them in a sense. You're
Look, I'm not.
associating
No,
yourself with them.
I am not associating myself with them. That's completely
Do
not,
you call
not
yourself a
true.
First Amendment auditor?
No, I told you at the very beginning. I call
Oh, okay.
myself
Okay,
an
then
activist.
I'm sorry. I apologize then.
Right. I think if you rewind the tape, you can hear me clearly say I don't consider myself an auditor. I'm many things, right? Do I happen to do First Amendment audits? Yeah, from time to time, but it's not. That's not the whole purpose of my channel. I have different reasons for doing what I do. Let me address something that here in chat. Bert H, I'm sorry, I mispronounced, said frauditors don't edit the videos. I do want to address that because that's something very important, and I'm glad you said that, Bert H. I've been on record several times on my channel saying if you edit your videos, you're missing context. So I agree with you. A lot of people will edit their videos and they make themselves look better, and the cops look worse, or the government officials, or whoever they're auditing. So there's no question that there's a rampant problem with that, and I am vehemently against editing unless it's for time's sake. Like sometimes I'll be walking from my car to a scene. I mean, who cares from that point to where the scene is, right? Just walking is mundane. So I don't have a problem with people cutting out footage like that. But I really have a problem with people editing their videos to make themselves look better and the cops look worse. Now YouTube has rules against profanity and stuff. I got no problem with people, like bleeping out bad words and stuff like that. But when you cut out video footage, you do yourself a disservice, and it's completely wrong for a couple of reasons. One, just for the reason I mentioned, you should never try to make yourself look better and the other person look worse. And two, how can you get better without people being able to see what you're doing in full context and calling you out if you did something wrong? So there's a two-edged sword there, and I completely understand that, and I appreciate that point. So just letting you know.
Well, I see a few questions about your channel name, and I didn't name it in the beginning, but anybody who wants to see his channel name is Mexican Long Hair. Mexican, is it? Am I right? Mexican
Yeah,
Long
you're
Hair.
right. Mexican long.
All right. So for those of you, like I said, my friend Yogi sent me your live stream, and that's why I contacted you, and this is why we're doing this tonight. But I've been telling my people that come Monday, my good friend who is an officer out in D.C., I wanted to do like I like how you hear some of these First Amendment orders say that they're out there educating the public. Well, I wanted to do my interpretation of educating the public by informing, giving info, because there's so much that you guys. I think right now at this moment, you guys have if you put all you guys together as one, you
Yeah.
got the government's ear. Okay, the government,
Right.
in my opinion, is willing to listen right now. They see the type of BS that you guys have been doing lately, and now, in my opinion, you got the government's ear, but you're not using it the right way. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I don't know. My own people may not like me for what I'm about to say, but I'm just saying there's certain things that I like. Holding officers accountable, I could live with that because we all know there's bad cops. I
Right.
can't live with. I don't like the idea of going into post office or libraries. That to me shouldn't be, or churches too. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
if you watch SGB News, who likes to go to a different church every Sunday,
Right.
that's kind of screwed up. A church
Okay,
should be off limits, but
let me address that. I'm going to address all three. Post office, I've already discussed. You will. I'm not going to say you will never see me at a post office, but it has to be something super egregious that somebody requests. Like, in other words, somebody was treated horribly, and they just want to make sure that the employees are doing their job, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, I'm going to say it's next to zero chance that I'm going to be at a post office. Libraries I've done before. I think that I do find it quite interesting to go to a library, for the reasons that I outlined. Sometimes the architecture is pleasing to the eye. Like I know the Aurora Library is very pleasing to the eye, and I think people should be able to see that normally wouldn't have the opportunity to see things like that. As far as churches go, I'm 100% in agreement with you. We do have freedom of religion here, and I am not for going out in front of churches. I disagree with SGB. I think SGB started out okay, but then he became more of a sensationalist. What you call it? Like a paparazzi more than anything, and I'm vehemently against that. I don't agree with him going to the churches. I think it's stupid, and I you know.
And that's
I
something he does every Sunday,
Yeah,
And I notice other, you got First Amendment rights. He's starting to, he does churches, and now he's starting to do fast food places. I mean, come
yeah,
on. It's like you guys are they're running out of locations to go do, harassing people that now come on, this movement was about holding the government accountable, and look
right,
where it's at right
right.
now, standing
Well,
in front of private businesses
right.
and creating chaos, in my opinion,
I
or
look
whatever.
here's what I'm going to tell you. I can't speak for everybody else. I know everybody wants to, me to give them the easy answer on other people and who do you think about this? And
I think the way
hold
we
on.
see it, the way we see it, and I know you said you didn't consider yourself or not consider, or you don't. I don't know how you're phrasing it.
Well, let
To
me
me,
let me continue. I'll be done
go
in a
ahead. I'm
second.
sorry.
No problem. No, what I can say is this: if I see bullshit, I will hold people accountable, right? And now I'm on record as saying SGV. I don't agree with with what he's doing on the churches. I just don't. Now, are there certain instances like I did enjoy his videos at the Scientology place? I don't know if you saw those videos because Scientology is more cult like to me. It's like
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Me too. I don't understand that. I'm not even going to speak about them. They're in a whole world, a whole other world. But uh, let me ask you, what do you think about furry potato?
I'm not a huge fan of Furry Potato, to be honest with you. I did. I mean, when Furry Potato first started, she was doing a lot of good work. Holding government officials accountable. Police. I mean, they all start doing the same thing, right? Like holding police accountable. But some of them handle things differently. Like they'll just automatically start barking, and I always wait for the cops to make the mistakes first. I don't like to be the first one, and unless
Yeah, but I'm sure you're aware. Furry potato. He attacks the people now.
Oh
I
yeah, well
haven't
I'm
seen
not for that. I'm not for that at all. Like she's her own thing, and if she's attacking people, then I'm against that. So
I
hope that
mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you seen the video where he got shot at. That was a synagogue, and I mean, when he before his channel got deleted, he was like going to various synagogues. Okay, so in my opinion, he had something like he had a hard on with the Jews or whatever, and he like in my mind, I'm not gonna call him a she because he still got something down there. Okay,
yeah.
some people may think I'm being disrespectful, but until that
Well,
individual gets his thing cut off, to me it's a he. Okay,
well,
but
I mean
he's
that
not
that
playing.
aside, I
Whatever.
mean,
That's my way of thinking. I'm not trying to corrupt you or anything, but I'm telling you, he's not playing with a full deck. And I had him one time threaten me that he was going to come find me because I was not harassing, but I was attacking Silence Boy for the bitch that he is.
yeah.
Okay,
All
anybody who does the type of crap that he does, yeah, I'm going to attack him. And
right.
then that he had. But
Let
okay,
me
go ahead. I
let
don't
me
want to turn into.
No, I just want to address domestic terror in chat. Somehow that person has a boner for me or something. I don't know what's going on there, but they say give me one link in the chat to a video you did where you critiqued a frauditor. One link. I will point you because I can't put anything in your chat here. I will point you to the DMA sentencing video. If you watch that, maybe you'll have a different view of things, or maybe not. Maybe you're closed-minded, and you kind of seem closed-minded. I don't understand why you're you know uh, so close-minded to what I've been saying. I mean, you can look at that video, look it up, and then tell me if you think otherwise. So there you go. Anything else that you wanted to ask me, Steve, or there?
Well, I there's a lot more that I would like, but like I said before, it's not good to go over an hour because people they don't like long videos or whatever. And this came out of the blue moon because of my friend Yogi here. The live stream that I'm putting out Monday was specifically for to inform my people about going, different ways of informing, because that's what I want to do is inform the public, let more people know about this here. And now it's not trying to hurt you guys, but I want people to be aware that there are people out there that feel that they public photography, however you want to put it, and to be aware so that they don't end up on YouTube looking like a fool or anything like that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
again, and I think we both have this where you don't go after the people. My opinion, again, I supported this movement, thinking that damn, these guys are out there doing something good. They're holding the government account. We all know Big Brother is a little crooked. He has skeletons in his closet. But those are things that you like when it comes to voting and all that. That's how you take it, my opinion. I mean, if there's other ways to go about it, let me know. But in my opinion, to get rid of those politicians that went in there with good intentions, but after they figured out to get their bills passed, they have to wheel and deal. Eventually, they become corrupt, and there you go, right? But voting is one way, okay. But to attack people, that's what bothered me. That's why I started doing what I'm doing. People
Yeah.
out there minding their own business, and here you got some individuals that started watching this auditing thing, and now because every day there's a new knucklehead going out there want to put their cell phone to use to make some quick easy cash on YouTube. And in my opinion, YouTube is like they should be blamed for this shit too. Okay, because if you got to think about it, a lot of these individuals, they get up every day to go out there, harass a location or whatever with the intentions of creating drama so that they can make a living, right? To
No
make money.
doubt.
A lot of them are open about it, right? So
Look,
now, if YouTube was to say, that's it, we're demonetizing this, I think a lot of the big ones too, like Bay Area Transparency. That's an individual that I remember last year that his channel, there was some kind of a mix up that YouTube demonetized him for a couple of weeks. He told his subscribers, I'm not putting out no new content until YouTube starts paying out. Again, open about it. And I'm saying, hold on, something that was a movement that was about holding the government accountable. Here you have people, you're doing it because you believe in what you're doing is right? And here you
well,
have somebody that's saying that if he's not making no money, he's not going out there
yeah.
to do what he's supposedly supposed to do.
No,
I
I
think he
look.
could.
I'm in full agreement with you. I don't think we disagree on that at all. I think if you're in it for money, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like I said, I don't mind people making
Agreed. There you
money.
go. I know me and you. I think I tell you, I've only seen two of your videos, and
Yeah.
and don't get mad at me, guys, but I think he's a good guy. Certain things I don't like. I've seen a library there, but I saw you went in there quick 5 7 minutes. Again, my opinion, libraries, they should be off limits because people go there to study. Okay, that bullcrap of going into a library and aiming your cell phone at people for an hour, 2 hours.
No, I agree.
And I know Johnny, that was something Johnny Bravo brought up that I liked. Anybody. You stand around you go to the post office and stand there. And Long Island Audit did this in one of his videos. One of the employees said the guy's been here for 4 hours now, going
Yeah.
around in circles. Come on now,
No, let me
any
address.
location is going to be like,
Right.
what's up with this guy?
Right.
He's not here to buy a stamp. He's not
Right.
here to do any kind of business. He's just
Right.
walking around in a circle for 4 hours. Damn it, anybody's gonna be like, yo, this guy is a nuisance. Okay, so
Right.
where do you
Right.
draw the line? Where do
Okay.
you draw the line where you say it's your right to do something, and then you being a nuisance to the public? So
Right.
again,
Right.
I understand where you and
Right.
Johnny Bravo I kind of like too. I think he's got a good way of thinking.
Right.
I mean,
Let me address that. Let me address that real quickly. Somebody brought up that I don't call out anybody else and all that. I mean, go through my videos. It's not my job to point you to every single one of my videos that I call somebody out, right? So here's another little nugget to let you know that I do hold anybody doing this accountable as well. And I think you guys should have an open mind about it, okay? So Amagansett Press, you mentioned before, right? what people don't understand about Amagansett Press, he's held in very, very high regard in the 1A community, I guess, and I don't know why, because this guy won't show you the full on videos unless I think you're a member or something. But I've been privy to a few of his videos. He will literally stand outside a police, not a police, but a post office and peer into
Not even a post, a jewelry store,
Okay.
a regular average business.
Right, but let me specifically address the government buildings and then go into that. But he will literally stand outside a post office, for instance, for hours on end, just to get a rise out of people. If that's what you're doing, then I already have no. I don't want to have nothing to do with you, and I think you're trash. I think your channel's trash. If you're making money off of it, more power to you, I guess. But I think it's bullshit and it's done under false pretenses. Be real. Be real with people. Show full context. If you're a real person and you want people to judge you the way that you should be judged, then have the audacity to put out the full video so people can see really how you get those videos. So there you go. There's
And also agree about standing any location, government or private. You stand at a location for over, come on, an extreme 2 to 3 hours, and you don't expect a reaction. Come on now.
Right.
I mean, you go into a location, like if you go into the post office and you want to stand there for 5-10 minutes, nobody said anything, go about your, you did good. My opinion, you did good. Okay. But again, I say a lot of them, like we both know, we both said it, they're going there for a reaction. They're going to stay there as long as it takes. Okay.
Right.
And that's when you know that they're in there to start trouble.
Right.
And again, it's just a kick in the ass that the post office doesn't make my opinion, that post is 7. Again, we could debate about that, but I get angry at the post office, the main post office. Now they put out, the last memo that I heard they put out was don't interact with them, leave them, ignore them. And then when they ignore the auditor, well, now the auditor's next option is to screw with the people.
Well,
again,
that's
I got to keep bringing the people in, because the people are the ones that, in my opinion, they're the ones that I care about, as well as the public employee who's out there. That's our neighbor, like we just both said, our neighbors, our friends. Okay, let's not forget, just because you work for the government, you're not the enemy. Okay,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Let me point out another video I did to point out that I have called DMA out. I did a video at a library, which you keep referring to, the same library. It was Aurora Library, but I went there for a purpose. You'll see I have cue cards. They're not cue cards, but I put on it cue cards. And I explained the story about DMA earlier, where the first time I ever met him, he had cue cards, and he was reading from his cue cards like he was going to do this grandiose speech on freedom, and I mean, it was just ludicrous and ridiculous. So I kind of poked fun at DMA in that video as well. So there's another video.
Yes, as well as DMA has a habit of telling people who go recording with him when they can upload their video.
Oh,
now,
that's a good point.
That's a kick in the ass. No?
You want me to address that? Steve,
go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, so here's another little scoop. I'm going to be on Frauditor Troll channel tomorrow, I believe, at 7 Eastern. So if you guys want to see, hear more from me, then go to the Frauditor Trolls channel tomorrow. But I did want to address this, because that's another thing that I felt was bullshit. A long time ago, I mentioned that library video that I did with him, where the Inglewood Library, where he was directing people and all this. Well, not after that one, but after the Aurora Library video, the one with Chatio, which I think you all have seen, the next thing I know, he's telling me when to put out my video. And because he's like, oh, dude, you got to put out your video on Wednesday at 10 a.m. because that's when it gets the most eyes on it, the most clicks and views. And I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me when to put out my video? This is my video. I don't give a fuck. I put it out immediately because the people want to see it immediately. They don't want to see it at 10 in the morning. And if you're doing that, if you're somebody that's making quote unquote content or whatever, and you feel the need to put out videos at 10 in the morning on a Wednesday and all that, then more power to you, Haas. Go ahead and do that. But I'm not going to do it with my videos. I I put out my videos when I usually when right when they happen. So
Agree.
there you go.
Everybody should have the right to do what they want to do. Just because you guys are recording together doesn't mean one is in charge. I understand. I think we all know that this knucklehead is a controlling freak or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I tell you, I have hatred for that man. I've never, like I said, I give everybody, hey, you want to go out there and record police and act a fool, go right ahead, and whatever happens, you brought that shit upon yourself. But that man, if you've watched his videos, and he's a hypocrite in a lot of his shit, he's fighting for freedom of speech, yet when somebody or disagrees with him or whatsoever, all of a sudden, let's follow this individual, record his license plate, and splatter it on YouTube. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit that he does that the shit that he did with the bounty hunter or whatever. I mean, he's a straight up bitch that my God, please, I would do a number on him, and I wouldn't mind catching a charge because of the hatred that I have towards that man.
Well,
okay?
Look, I have no hatred for anyone.
I have hatred for that man. No ifs, ands, or buts about the shit that he does.
Look,
I mean,
I understand, and I don't like him personally because I've met him, I've seen him in person. I think he's a piece of shit, and I have no problem calling him a piece of shit. Now, I mean,
but keep in mind that you guys, or should I say, auditors that go out there targeting the public, there's a lot of people out there that are not playing with a full deck.
Right.
Okay.
No, I agree.
You may feel that it's your right to go aim your camera at them, and you catch that wrong one. You know that's when I think the government will step in. When they start noticing that the people are getting fed up with this shit,
well, no,
they start taking them out.
I'm not an advocate for violence.
I'm not advocating it. I'm just telling. I think it's safe to say that come on now. We're talking. This is the United States of America. We got people from all over different countries that come here, and they have their own ways of, until they adapt to. You know what I'm saying? You got people from third world countries that are used to, if you go down the road and you look at them funny, they're quick to behead your ass. Okay.
Yeah.
And
no, look,
we have them.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't. I'm more of a pacifist. I want to be more of a diplomat. I'm here on your channel trying to bridge the gap between these two communities.
I agree. I think I've made that comment that you have I like you. I kind of like you. Okay. I've only seen a couple of your videos, and I think me and you, if we were to sit down, we got a lot in common.
Right.
But we also got to take into consideration others that are calling themselves auditors that are making it work. That's why I said somehow you guys need to get all together. Okay. If you guys are really, about the movement or whatever, and get rid of those that are actually.
I'm going to leave it up to the people to decide that, because you mentioned the people definitely have power, right? So it's up to the people to decide who's the real deal and who isn't. I mean, I don't really give a shit what DMA does anymore. He's going to be on 2 years probation, and he's got 15 days in jail and all this shit, and deservedly so, right? I mean, I have all the terms. I was in the courthouse.
I think he deserved more than 15 days. And I get people that send me emails, right? Well, videos through emails, and I got a video of him he was getting drunk or whatever, and that's on Fraud of the Trolls channel, right after the sentencing or whatever. And here he is talking about the next day he's got a bunch of audits to do. So that sentencing didn't really mean shit to him.
No, well, let me address that as well, right? I'm gonna just for you guys, and Fraud of the Troll might ask me this too, but I'm going to go through some of the conditions that I didn't remember when I was talking on that stream. And I think these are pretty damn good. He's got on the first count, he's got 15 days in jail, $3,000 fine, 2 years of probation. He's got a drug test within 15 days, and that includes weed, because weed is still, even though it's legal here in Denver, it's still illegal federally. So he can't even do weed, which he was caught doing weed on that very stream that you talked about. So I'm wondering if he's going to pass that test. No more than 20 tests per year. Let's see. He can't leave the state without first getting permission from his probation officer. Needs to notify his probation officer of any financial changes. He has to notify the PO of any changes to living arrangements 10 days prior, and with whom he is living with. Has to allow the PO to visit him at his home address or anywhere the PO says to meet him. The PO is allowed to remove anything he sees in plain view that is in violation of the terms. He has to work 30. This is pretty funny, and you guys will get a kick out of this. He has to work 30 hours per week at legal employment unless the PO excuses him from doing so. Any changes to employment or duties at employment must be reported to the PO 10 days prior. He cannot communicate with anyone he knows is engaged in illegal activity. Somebody mentioned AFA, and what I think of him, I think AFA is a piece of shit, racist asshole. So there you go. And I don't
right on.
Let's see. He cannot communicate with any felons without prior PO approval. So to answer your question about AFA is a felon. So if he's going to hang out with AFA, I mean, who am I to say if someone doesn't give that information to the prosecution team? No guns, firearms, or dangerous weapons, including tasers and nunchucks. I laughed at that because, I mean, really, who has nunchucks anymore? He can't be an informant or a snitch without permission from the court first. He can't open any new credit or financial terms without permission. So if he wants to get a new car and get out a loan for that, he has to tell him. He has to open his financial records, including bank statements, over to his PO until his fines are paid. And I think that's it. So there you go. I mean, there you got everything.
Yeah, he got it. The probation is where he got it worse.
Yeah.
Okay. And hey, let him get a job like the rest of us that go out there and work on 9 to 5 or whatever. And 30 hours is 30 hours. That's a that should put a damper on him going out there harassing people or whatever.
Well, let me just put it this way. I don't think he's going to be making his own videos anytime soon. I think his idea is, now that he has 100,000 subs. Matter of fact, he said this to Johnny Bravo. You mentioned Johnny Bravo earlier. I think he was in chat earlier. He mentioned this to Johnny Bravo, that he wants to get 100,000 subs, and then all he wants to do for the rest of his life is edit videos and all of that, you know. So there you go.
That's fine. If that's how he could survive, so be it. As long as he's not out there. I honestly don't. I can't see him out there around people. He's not a people person.
No,
I
agree.
He does more damage to people. I think we're all of us are a little screwed up in the head. Okay, just some more than the rest, but not screwed up in a bad way. You know what I'm getting. With all the shit that's going on in this world or whatever. But I would not want him near my family. He's a very nasty person, and again, I would rather see him behind the computer than to be out there harassing people or whatsoever. But listen, I do appreciate the time that you put in, and I'm sorry for those that didn't really get their questions asked or whatever. And I'm a little off here because I'm trying to read the chats. I'm trying to talk to you and so on. But again, I truly give you respect, because again, I said, after watching a couple of your videos, I said, this is somebody that I think I won't say that I'm fully I agree with fully everything you do, because you're still out there somewhat screwing with people somewhat.
No,
I haven't seen all your videos. I haven't seen you attacking anybody on a sidewalk or anything like that.
Right.
Again, holding the government is holding the government accountable. I could live with that.
Right.
Holding police accountable, I think that's a good thing. Now, again, I have not seen your whole, every video you got out there, but hopefully you're not one of them that go out there harassing.
No, I will say this, Steve. There have been certain people that have tried to bat my camera out, like me just filming the police and stuff like that, and that gives me pause. I don't freak out like DMA does, like a little girl. I mean, I don't think you should do that. You know what I mean? But I don't want anybody attacking me. I mean, that's not the point. So I don't like to put myself in those positions where
you want the same respect that I think everybody's like that. We want the respect that you expect from us. You know, give respect to give respect
Right,
to get
right.
respect. You got to give respect. So again, I like I said, I didn't know about you until my good friend Yogi put you out there, and I really do appreciate you taking the time and effort to come
Yeah.
on.
Can I
All
say one
right.
thing
So
before we leave, Steve?
yeah, go right ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead. Right ahead.
Gary Pearson says, "Is MLH a Brooklyn Audit fan? Does he join Brooklyn Audits lives?" No, I do not. I don't know much about Brooklyn Audit. I don't think I'm a huge fan of his, to be honest with you. So there's your answer. If you want to check out my channel, Mexican Longhair, on YouTube, and maybe I can earn your subscription. You know, I want to earn your subscription. That's the difference between me and other people that are doing some of the same things. Is they, you know, they want to just take you for granted. I don't want to take you for granted. I want to not only earn your subscription, but I want to keep your subscription. So there you go.
You go, boy. I like that. I like that. Listen, I thank you all for being here, honestly, okay? And I know some of you guys are going to be upset. I didn't ask the proper questions and so on. But again, this was like all a quick thing that my good friend Yogi put together. And much respect to Mexican long hair. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I say thank you for all of you that made the effort to come here. And I'm going to end the live stream here. All right, guys. So, again, thank you all. Have a great night. And Monday, you'll see what me and my good friend Andre Sloan has put together. All right, guys. You guys have a good night.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much.